When I was a kid, I read about the story of Dr. Jane Goodall, and I was so touched by her. I want to go to Africa to protect animals. From then on, I had this dream. In 2013, after graduating from Columbia University, I joined a fellowship to Africa to investigate the wildlife trade. At first, I didn't know why they specifically wanted a Chinese journalist. But when I visited an ivory market in Maputo, Mozambique, I quickly understood. In the market, ivory was hidden in boxes. When people walked by, the dealers stayed quiet. But when I, as a Chinese person, walked past, they became very excited. They shouted to me in Chinese, 我们有象牙，我们有犀牛角，不贵. I learned that many elephants were slaughtered for ivory. I learned that 1/3 of ivory comes from the face of elephants, so poachers had to chop their faces off. And I learned that most of this ivory went to China at that time. And it wasn't just ivory. Rhino horn, pangolin, shark fin. Many people believe all Chinese buy these things. That is so not true, and it hurt me. But ironically, it gave me an advantage. In the black markets, dealers, they trusted me. If I wanted photos, they would just let me take it. If I wanted answers, they would just tell me. No one imagined a Chinese person could be a wildlife conservationist. I published my findings on Africa and Chinese media, exposing the ivory and rhino horn trade. Soon, an NGO reached out to me. They asked me to pretend to be a wildlife buyer to help them arrest traffickers. They told me traffickers are smart. When they see a black or white investigator, they get suspicious. But when they hear your Chinese accent English, they trust you. Well, I wasn't so happy about the comment on my English, but I decided to help. And it worked. More NGOs asked me to join their missions. I became known as an undercover wildlife trade investigator. You know, as a kid, I dreamed of going to Africa to protect animals, right? Somehow, I achieved that dream, though not in the way I imagined. People now often ask me about my experience with elephants. I have to tell them, sorry, I didn't spend much time with elephants, I spent more time with the traffickers. Later, a filmmaker invited me to join a documentary about the ivory trade. I agreed, and I even showed my face in this documentary. Why? With my journalism background, I believe in the power of media. I hope more Chinese could see my work and join me, because I alone could not make enough difference. I was worried, but I wasn't too worried about the risk, because of two reasons. One, traffickers, they don't watch conservation films. Two, people think all Chinese look the same. Somehow, this film called The Ivory Game came out on Netflix in 2016 and was shortlisted for an Oscar and had Leonardo Dicaprio as executive producer. Because of this film, I even met my hero, Dr. Jane Goodall, and I was so flattered when she called me her hero. But still, I knew one investigator alone could not change everything. I believe many other Chinese people, they can do what I do and even much better. Because to traffickers, we all look like potential buyers. So I started a Chinese investigation team called Agent C. Today, we travel around the world for missions. We go to Suriname to fight jaguar trade, to Kenya to put sea turtle and ivory traffickers in jail, and to Laos to expose rampant pangolin trade. For wildlife crimes, yes, we are sometimes part of the problems, but that's why I believe we must also be part of the solutions.